We are recording. If you can show your face, please do. If you can't, no worries. Just the one thing that I ask per usual is that you're only here for 30 minutes. Give this your full attention. And like you have all day to be working. So I just like to always say that in the beginning of the Zooms. But let's start with 100 Days to Brave. So the title today is Don't Give Up. Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. Galatians 6:9. Look at you. I'm impressed. Look how far you've gotten in this book. Listen, you're on day 67. Amazing. You are showing perseverance already. Okay, I'm going to tell you something and I want you to listen. Don't give up. Don't quit. You're on a journey. You're looking to be brave. You're over halfway through what God has for you here. You've been looking at your life, at your pains and joys and calling, and you've been finding the brave. But don't quit now. Don't quit trying to find the brave in your life. Don't quit the things that you're involved in that feel just too hard. Don't quit this book. Looking for brave and doing things that are healthy for your mind, body, and soul will reap a harvest of blessing. You know, when you're working out and you start seeing some results, you're stronger, you feel better, and your clothes fit a little better, and then you're like, I'm done, and you abandon all healthy habits. Don't do that with your soul or your healthy habits either. If you stick with this, if you stick with spending time in God or the universe's word, journaling and looking inward and holding your choices up against scripture, you will reap a harvest of blessing. Don't quit believing that and don't give up now. Be brave. Go on a short walk today. Think through the first 2/3 of this book and how you have changed because you have persevered and walked toward courage. I feel like that was a really good one for today. Yay. Okay, hang on. So today is going to be all about routines, building routines, successful habits that you need to start implementing into your business and into your daily life. This is not any single Zoom that you get on, any self-development that you listen to, any training is going to be applicable to both your life and your business. They go hand in hand. So I want you to really remember that, like, the way that I'm asking you to show up for your business, I'm also asking you to show up for yourself in your daily life. So, I have a little quote for you guys because I really thought that it was just like, I don't know, pertinent to this. So it says, if you talk about it, it's a dream. If you envision it, it's possible. But if you schedule it, it's real. Tony Robbins. And I love this quote because when you are thinking about your promotion or you're thinking about successful habits, about things that you want to do, it's a workout, it's a new diet, like literally fill in the blank, until you schedule it and you keep that promise to yourself, it's literally never going to happen. It's the same as that analogy that I use. It's like when you're shooting in the dark, you're going to miss every time. So instead of just having these goals, having these dreams, really going for them. Your job isn't to know the how, but you do have to take action, and you need to have some sort of plan of action or it's never going to happen. If you wake up every day just saying to yourself, I'm going to work my business, you're probably not going to work your business. You're going to spend maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours on your business that day and be like, oh my God, I feel like I've been working all day. No, you've been on your phone scrolling. You've been in a TikTok hole, wasting time. You've been listening to your self-development book, but you're doing a million other things and your kids are screaming in the background, and let's be honest, you weren't listening to it. That's not active listening. That's not doing your self-development for the day. So when we talk about setting a goal for yourself, whether that's with enrollments or HAPs, you need to put a deadline on it. So if you want 10 HAPs up, that is before what time today? If you want 15 new potentials, by what time are you going to have those 15 potentials? If you want to go diamond, what date are you giving yourself as a deadline to make that happen? If you give yourself a year to go diamond, it's going to take you a year. If you give yourself 30 days, it may not happen necessarily overnight, but it's going to happen a lot quicker than if you gave yourself a year. So when you are looking, the very first thing that I want you to do is when you are thinking about your promotion, if you have not put a date to it yet, you are right now. And if it's anything below diamond, trash it. You're going diamond in the next 90 days. period. Put a date on it. By August 31st, you're a diamond. I want you literally writing that at the top of your chart. Paste it on your damn fridge. Like, I literally don't care. Put a date. Okay. So when you are thinking about building successful habits in life and in business, you need to start looking at time frames. I'm not asking you to schedule every day time block like I do. I know that that doesn't work for everybody. I know that things get crazy, especially those of us who have kids or have weird things going on in our lives right now. Like, every day is spur of the moment, and you can set something, and then inevitably something comes up, and when you had something scheduled for a certain time, it's not during that time frame. But what you do really need to narrow down is, how much time am I going to give myself to do my laundry today? How much time am I going to give myself to do my dishes, to clean my house, to clean my bathroom? How much time today am I going to make a conscious decision to work on my business? How much time today am I going to make sure that I spend with my kids or my spouse? These are things that you have to think about, whether you like it or not, because you are now an entrepreneur and every moment counts, and you start to realize that your time is so valuable. Ed Mylett has this one video, I can't remember what it is. I think it's actually when he's talking with David Goggins. I could totally be wrong, so don't quote me, but he talks about splitting his days into 6 days. One day is 6 days for him in like 4-hour increments or something like that. And he literally will schedule out hour per hour, minute by minute, what he is doing during those times, because that is what a successful person does, point blank, period. If you go through every day not knowing what you're doing, well, you're in trouble. Like, that's just the truth. Go look at Gary Vee. Go look at Grant Cardone. Go look at Andy Frisella, Rachel Hollis. I don't care who your idol is. Every single one of them is so crazy obsessed over every minute. And that is not a coincidence. Successful people build successful habits. You need to start making conscious decisions about how much time you're spending on things, because again, if you don't, you're going to spend all day cleaning your house, and you're going to get to the end of the day being like, I didn't work my business. Or you're going to work your business all day, not get anything done in your house, and you're going to wake up the next morning feeling so overwhelmed that you do nothing. Don't do that to yourself. That's this creating cycle of negativity. And like, I'm not perfect. I will not sit here and pretend like every day is just peachy keen for me. Like, there are days where I do get overwhelmed, but it is always because I didn't take enough action the day before. It is always because I did not make a conscious decision to say, I'm going to get this done today. And again, if time blocks don't work for you, Connor doesn't like the time block thing. So for him, it's a to-do list. But he sets a time. By this time every day, this is what I'm getting done. So I'm really hitting this on the head, because you need to make a decision about how much time you are going to spend on your business every day. And I'm talking intentional freaking work. I'm not talking you're on your phone. I don't care how, and I'm not talking about replying to messages. You're always going to have messages. You're always going to have notifications. That's never going to change. If it's not time to work your business, let them be. They can wait until it's your scheduled time to work your business. But I'm not talking about answering messages here. You're going to be replying to your team. You're going to be replying to messages throughout the day. I'm talking about new messages. I'm talking about growing your network. I'm talking about learning and watching training videos. I'm talking about interacting, post, stories, all the other things that we do. How many times are you going to do that today? That's why I work my business in rounds, because I know, okay, I can do this much before I get blocked. And I'm going to do that 4 times today. So I don't know what works for you, but you got to find something, and then you've got to set a time frame of how much you're willing to do this. Then you create your 6 list. So if you can truly commit 3 hours a day to this, and again, that's not all in one sitting. We all know that. So it can be 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. It could be 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Like, it literally doesn't matter what it is. That is the beauty of this business, is that you can work it in the nooks and crannies of your day, but it needs to get done. and you need to pick a non-negotiable number. I don't want you picking 8 hours a day if you can't work 8 hours a day. If your bare minimum is 2, 3, 4 hours, that like the number is different for everybody, but it needs to happen every single day. And if you're having a bad day or you're traveling or whatever, get your post up, do your self-development, do whatever you can outside of that. But you have to have a non-negotiable list. This is not new to anybody, but it takes 21 days to create a habit. You're gonna have to stick to this, stick to your schedule, stick to your time frames for 21 days consecutively without missing a single day. If you miss a single day, you start over. So I seriously want you guys to count how many days consecutively, keep track in a journal that I completed my 6 list. I completed my non-negotiables. I said I was gonna work 3 hours. I worked the 3 hours intentionally. And you've got to keep track of it. And then you got to start over if you don't hold yourself to it. So really give yourself the time to implement these things, to watch them work. The longer that you do this, you guys, I've been in the business 2 years. This is not new for me. I've had to do this since day one, especially because I started this when I was working full time. So I had to know exactly when I was going to work this business or it would never get done because I was working 60 hours a week and sick, pregnant, right? So a lot of the mistakes that I see people make is that they'll set up this 6 list and then they do it for a week and then they fall off. And then they wonder why they're not enrolling or why they're not getting haps up or why they don't feel fired up. And it's like, well, because you're not excited about your business and you're not working. So you have to have, especially as leaders here, we have to have really hard conversations with ourselves. There are some big pills that we have to swallow as leaders. Because I asked you guys today in the leadership chat, and I think it just got sent, so you guys obviously still have all day to do it, but there are questions that I'm making you go stand in front of the mirror and ask yourself today. And some of those might be really hard pills for you guys to swallow, just like it is for me. So I want you to give it enough time. And then commit to yourself, your team, and me that you are going to do this daily. This business, you guys, you gotta show up every day. Like, I'm sorry, it's not a 9 to 5 where you're gonna have like a day that you can take off. Jade Hooper does like whiteout days, so 1 day a month she does take off, but then she talks about in her videos how inevitably, because she knows that's her 1 day off, she ends up working harder than any other day that day. You can do anything you want. You can travel the world and spend all day completely off of your phone, unplugged. You can go camping. You can do the things. But you need to understand the consequences of taking your foot off the gas like that. Because what happens is when you go 4 days without working your business, meaning there's no posts, there's no growing your network, there's no haps, there's no messages, there's no new potentials coming in, you may as well have taken the whole month off, right? Like, it just is this domino effect. So if you just do your bare minimum every single day, whatever that is for you, the consistency will compound. The other thing that I want you guys to challenge yourselves to do, and this is something that I've been talking about for a long time, this isn't new. I did it when I was working and obviously when I'm not working. And I've fallen off track with it before. It's just one of those things, but this is such a promise that I have been keeping to myself. And it feels so good to stay true to it and to like stick to the things that I'm telling myself. So I want you to challenge yourself to wake up 1 hour earlier than you normally do to control your morning. And this is going to be a part of your new 6 list. This is going to be a part of this new 21-day habit that we're implementing, right? So 1 hour earlier, you're going to do your self-development. Your phone is not going to be touched. You're going to do your journaling. You're going to get your post up. You're going to get your coffee story up. Whatever you typically do in the mornings, meditation, yoga, your workout, like whatever it is, it's going to be different for everyone. 1 hour earlier. The other thing that I learned from Brendon Burchard is he talks about, and I do not want to butcher it, so if you want to learn more about it, just literally go to any of his books or like YouTube videos or whatever. But he talks about how psychologically, like, you can only last in our attention span, like as humans, is in 52-minute increments. So you will be most productive in a 52-minute window, okay? So what that means is when I sit down to work now, I say, hey Siri, hopefully she doesn't come on, set a timer for 52 minutes. And that is my power hour. And then once the 52 minutes is up and you turn your alarm off, you get up, you physically move your body, you go to another room, you go do your dishes, you go do whatever, you stretch or you do some sort of like move your body, jumping jacks, whatever. And then this can be like a 2 to 5 minute thing. And then you set your intentions for the next 52 minutes. What am I going to accomplish over this next 52 minutes? Whether that's with your business and your 6 list, your self-development, your kids, like whatever you have scheduled, whatever that next time block is for you, set another alarm. And I have been working my day in 52-minute increments. And I can't tell you how much it has changed the game for me. I lose focus so quickly, y'all. Like I will be on my phone interacting and the next thing I know, I'm scrolling and I'm like, shit, focus, you know, whatever. So I've found that this really works. This is like scientific stuff that, wow, imagine that. It's actually true. So I want you guys to challenge yourself again to start implementing that. So we're going to talk about a lot of things today, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed. So if you need to like start with one and do that for a week and then start like implement the other and then bring some more on, you can do it that way too if this like overwhelms you all at once. Otherwise, just start implementing what you can immediately. Okay. The next thing that I was just kind of touching on, but it will eventually become such a habit that you don't ever feel like you're working your business. Like it never like, these days outside of like trainings or whatever, when I'm like really setting aside a certain time, it doesn't ever feel like I'm working. Like I do one round and then I'm hanging out with Oakland, or then we're going and running an errand or a doctor's appointment, and then I do another round, and then we're doing something else, or I'm doing whatever. Like who knows? Every day is different. But I love that about this business. So make sure that you like use that to your advantage. And then last thing, you guys, is make big goals and go for them. Like I was so reminded this morning when I was listening to my self-development, because I listened to 2 books this morning. I'm finishing a book that I had started a long time ago and got like 3/4 of the way through, and I don't know why I never finished it, but it's called Chase the Lion. And literally on the title, it says, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. And then I was listening to Be Obsessed or Be Average by Grant Cardone, and he's like giving me a whooping. And I'm like, wow, once again, I'm reminded of how small we are playing. Like, don't you ever feel like that? Drop a 1 in the comment if like you just feel like you have been playing too small. You are not pushing yourself enough. You guys, this should be challenging. That's why I push so hard on going diamond and above. That's why I say if you have a Ruby chart out, it should go in the garbage. Because we are playing too small. You are not dreaming big enough. I am not dreaming big enough. Because if we were, we would be a hell of a lot farther than we are. So if you are having a hard time with the consistency, with showing up every day, with just doing the dang thing, then you got to get re-excited. We've talked about this a lot recently. If that diamond chart does not make you sweat with fear and excitement, it is not big enough. If your paycheck that is your goal, that I have you guys write your check out to yourselves with, is not scary to you, doesn't want to make you throw up, double it. Do not play small. We're done playing small. Okay, I'm going to pause the recording. Okay, so for those watching this on replay, we did this 5-minute guided meditation It's like a visualization meditation. I really like those just because I'm a very visual person, and I feel like that's a really big piece of manifesting things. So the last thing that I wanted to end on is I am not perfect. There are things that I could do better and that I am always working towards. So just like my tip this morning, just be open and welcoming to growth and to these new things that you are learning through this process. This is a process, and it took me a long time to get where I am, and you're going to find what works for you. But the biggest key is to actually take the things that you learn and to start doing them. So whatever you took out of today's Zoom that you were like, ooh, that's really good, I want to start implementing that. Don't just say it. Keep that promise to yourself, just like we were talking about earlier. So choose the things and then just go for it, y'all. Let's quit playing small. Let's do the things. Just do the things. Like, it really is that simple. So thank you for hopping on. I love y'all. I'll have this recording up soon. And hopefully later this afternoon, I'm sure somebody else will start a working Zoom. So have an amazing Saturday.